Here we go, the Leo Zagami show with Leo and Christy. Saturday, June the 22nd. How was your summer solstice? We are broadcasting live from Palm Springs, California on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. Of course, Facebook and YouTube only for the first part of the show. Is Rambo moving around and playing around on the divan? He's being naughty. He's being a little bit naughty. What is he doing?
What do you want me to do?
No, nothing. He's just chilling out. Okay, guys, Rambo is a little chihuahua. Just for those who don't know, the Leo Zagami show is part of it. It was the day, I think yesterday or today was the day you bring your dogs at work. We always have a dogs at work. Anyway,
one dog.
Yeah, one dog. Okay, we have a lot to say. We have a lot of news, but we start only after Christy talks about the sponsors. The sponsors are you. The sponsors are those who want to, of course, help us out with the Leo Zagami Show weekly endeavor. And there are, of course, also those who donate anonymously. But these are the ones who have their names read by the one and only Christy.
Wow. Okay. We have this week we have as sponsors Daniel Estes, Bruce Kodish, God's Truth War, Dennis Bolanos Enriquez, and Malgarazada Minta. And everybody that bought the book, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. The Leo Zagami Show, the title, it's of course very, very important because in a few days we have this TV battle between candidate Donald J. Trump and zombie Joe Biden. And of course, a lot of people are talking about it, but we want to focus on Trump's proposal of ending World War III, because he says that it's inevitable that this World War III will manifest. We hope this doesn't never happen. But unfortunately, if Joe Biden stays in the White House, that's highly possible. How is that conditioning? Is it down, down, because it's boiling hot here in Palm Springs, California, and that's why we want to really thank once again our sponsors.
It's pretty down.
Yeah, but it's so hot. It's so hot. Yeah, cover around. Yeah, otherwise we will end up with a frozen chihuahua.
Don't get up.
Okay. This is a very important show also for another reason. This is my first show as an American who is only an American. I no longer have dual citizenship.
Are you going to show the video?
Yes, I will show the video when we went out of this Italian consulate.
We went to LA this week and we went to the Italian consulate and he denounced his Italian citizenship.
No, renounced. So it's very important to specify what I did, because, of course, this is something that a lot of Americans will not understand. Why a person renounces his previous citizenship. A lot of people like to have dual citizenship. I don't believe in dual citizenship. You are either one thing or you are the other. But there is also another reason. As you know, me and Christy were persecuted in my native country of Italy. I fled with Christy in 2000. We fled from Italy in 2019, and we didn't really know what America had for us, but we knew that we wanted to pursue the American dream, and we wanted, of course, to flee a country that was persecuting me and was putting in danger both my life and also Christy's life. So without further discussions, I want to show on the screen this important document, at least important for us. I don't know if it's important for a lot of people, but it's definitely a turning point, and it shows what a person does when he really believes in the American dream. You see, I have renounced the Italian citizenship on June 20th, 2024 in Los Angeles. I did it, of course, at the Consulate General of Italy in Los Angeles. This is a certificate of renunciation of Italian citizenship. And I'm doing it because if you stay an Italian citizen, you will be always subject to their constitution, and their constitution is a joke. Is a joke. Italy is number 47 in the charts for freedom of speech, behind a lot of African countries. Journalists and authors like me are persecuted. And maybe sooner or later I will go back and visit my native country of Italy, but as an American, protected by the American Constitution and, of course, by the American Embassy. Because this is the thing, guys. If I stayed an Italian, I could have never visited Italy again because they would have arrested me. And that's something that people need to know. Italy, basically, here in America, everybody says, fuck Joe Biden, let's go Brandon, and everybody laughs. In Italy, if you say that to the Italian president, you get 7 years of jail. That is one of the laws that they kept from the fascist era. And it's insane. I find it completely insane. And so, of course, I insulted many times the Italian president after I came here. So I probably summarized many years of prison, but they can't touch me any longer because I'm no longer subject to their idiotic constitution.
Why don't you show the video?
Yes, this is the video of when me and Christy left the Italian consulate. Let me show you this video. I think a lot of you will find it interesting.
Okay.
My last day as an Italian. Tomorrow, from the summer solstice 2024, I will only be American.
Well, starting today, right now.
No, but tomorrow officially, I am only American.
That's great, Amore. Let me see the flag. Ok, you want to say dici in italiano?
Sì, questo oggi, il 20 giugno dell'anno del Signore 2024, è il mio ultimo giorno da italiano.
Wow.
Dal 21 giugno del solstizio d'estate 2024 sono solo americano.
Woohoo!
È finito.
Ciao Italia.
L'esule.
Goodbye,
Inizia
Italy.
una nuova era.
We will never see you again, you fuckers.
Christy!
I just call them fuckers one more time.
Yeah, well, they were not really nice about it. They gave me a very hard time. I had to put together a lot of documentation.
You didn't even have to pay
I
for
had
it.
to pay almost $500 to get rid of my Italian citizenship, which is a ripoff, and doesn't happen for any other country, for what I know. So I renounced to the Italian citizenship because I wanted to be free of doing my job as a writer, as a journalist here in America with you guys. You have been so good to us and supporting us all these years. So I want to thank once again our sponsors that have helped us all these years, the people who, of course, purchase our many books that we put out regularly. And both me and Christy has also an upcoming cookery book. No? How you say cookery book? Cookbook. So that's what we are trying to do here. We are trying to continue in our mission and our fight without any more being persecuted. And I tell you guys, if you had the same experience me and Christy had back in Europe, you will understand why I renounced to my Italian citizenship. It's not something you do lightly. It's a very important thing. And by the way, there was also another problem. When I went into that consulate, I was stepping into enemy territory, and there was immediately an Italian policeman the moment we went off of that lift. And tension started to build up in me, and Christy could see it, because I wasn't sure if these fuckers will arrest me or not once I was in Italian territory. Fortunately,
I had like my other game plan. I was trying to figure it out for the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
If they grab them, but I really don't have anybody to call. So I mean,
but
it's just me and you.
Yes,
so.
It's me and you, and we made it. We made it out of the Italian consulate, and we made it with a document that, as I shown you, certifies that now I'm only an American, and that's it. Like James Brown is living in America. Okay, guys, welcome to the Leo Zagami show, Saturday, June the 22nd, and we have a lot of news. We would also like to open the phone lines later on for the second part of the show.
That's cool.
I have, of course, my opening monologue today, which I prepared, which I think is important. So I think I'm going to also start with that. Christy, what do you think?
About what?
About the experience that we had also.
Oh, well, you know, I was over there at the embassy, and we were going to, can I say that part?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so wait, I'll put the screen back.
Yes.
Okay, so we were going to the embassy, and like we were parking, and we were over on Wilshire Boulevard, and we were parking. I don't know that area at all, because we went one time since we've been back in 5 years, and that was in 2019 to LA. And well, no, we went a few times, like, because we had to go to the lawyer.
Well, but it wasn't LA; it was Huntington.
Yeah, but I haven't been back to LA. I went like maybe 3 or 4 times when we were the different times that we were in California. But anyway, so we were going down.
We used to go often when we used to live in Long Beach 10 years ago.
I mean, it's not that important. I was just going to say that I was going down this like really wooded thing. It was like dark and wooded, and it was kind of like cozy and safe a little bit. But anyway, I really liked it. And so I said to him, I said, I think that Marilyn lived down this block. And that was it, you know. And then so I had to go home, and I Googled it. And she did live down that block. She lived 10 minutes away.
You were right. She did live around there.
So I had to think about that all the rest of the day.
It was actually a pleasant part of LA.
It was really nice.
We didn't see much of the homeless encampments we saw the last time we went there in 2019.
No, we didn't see anything.
We avoided probably
the area that we were in, and actually the people there were really nice. Yes. I know that's weird, but I mean, everybody was really, really nice compared to Palm Springs, where everybody is a complete asshole. The people that were around us on that day, we were even coming out of the car, and this lady came up to us, and she's like, "Are you going to the Italian consulate?" Like, yes. We look so Italian, I guess. Maybe. So, and then she helped us, and she told us which building it was and where to go, because the building didn't have a number on it. So we had I felt like little angels, like helping us along the way when we were going, and everything. It was a beautiful day, and everything went smoothly, and it was a very nice experience. So,
okay, guys,
I always want to remember it.
Yes, absolutely. And now we have to discuss, of course, more serious topics. Russian President Vladimir Putin wrapped up this week his Asian tour in Vietnam, which included stops also in North Korea, of course, where he formalized dozens of agreements with both countries, both North Korea and Vietnam, not the best friends of the United States of America. But the most notable was the Defense Pact, the Pact of Mutual Defense he stipulated with Kim Jong-un, which was previously detailed also by our colleagues at Zero Edge, where a couple of ominous warnings also were given. And this is something that happened at a closing conference in Hanoi on Thursday, where Putin stated Russia might change his nuclear deterrence policy. Now, in the last few months, we have witnessed over and over again no shortage of nuclear threats, and also how can you say, confrontation, united confrontation between Moscow and NATO. Stoltenberg, by the way, my arch enemy, Jens Stoltenberg, with Secretary General of NATO, should be leaving soon his position. Let's see if things will get better with somebody else. I doubt it, though, because, of course, NATO is unfortunately a corrupt organization at the moment in the hands of the New World Disorder. Now, some US lawmakers have gone so far as to describe the present situation as a Cuban Missile Crisis in space, others as a Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0, and all of this following Russia's intent on launching a possible nuclear space weapon into orbit that could hit anywhere on Earth. And that could be really dangerous, knowing that you have a nuclear weapon over your head. As it stands, Russia's atomic doctrine is based on deploying nukes only in the scenario that the Russian homeland comes under existential threat, much like other nuclear-armed countries. Below, we have also an article that I would like to put here in the chat that addresses all this for those who are interested in know more about this topic. I'm going to put it here on the screen. Here we are for those who want to read it, and maybe also click on the links, analyze it, because I think it's relevant. Christy was editing it and said, Leo, this is a relevant article, no? And
it's important.
It's important. I mean, when you're talking about Russia considering amending the nuclear defense policy, this is unprecedented. And of course, the only guy who is talking some sense here, and he's been doing it for a very long time now, almost since the beginning of this confrontation with Russia in Ukraine, has been, of course, Donald J. Trump. He has talked over and over again about this whole thing, because here, guys, we are in front of an unprecedented scenario that hasn't been seen since the Second World War. We have, in the Second World War, we had Italy, Japan, and Germany, who were the assholes. Now we have North Korea, we have Russia, we have China, we have Iran. We can even add Venezuela, Cuba, and a host of other countries that are already in the BRICS that are not really so friendly with the US any longer, or play an ambivalent role, like, for example, Brazil at the moment. And when they don't play an ambivalent role, like Milei in Argentina, Putin was very critical of Argentina. So it's important to understand that the mutual defense might open even the way for North Korea to join the war in Ukraine with troops that will arrive in Europe, but also possible deliveries of weapons to the conflict zone in Ukraine by South Korea would be a mistake. This is what Putin said. And Putin added, as for the supply of lethal weapons to the combat zone in Ukraine, it will be a very big mistake. I hope it will not happen. If it does, then we too will make the respective decision. With South Korea, current leadership is unlikely to be pleased with. What does this mean? It means that Putin went to this North Korea, this paria state, and of course also to Vietnam. He went there because he is expanding this war. This war is no longer a regional matter, but soon is going to have implications all over the world. And at the same time, of course, we have what is happening in the Middle East. In the Middle East, with Iran backing Hezbollah, with the possibility that now Israel expands the war in the north. There might even be at that point the possible involvement of Italy, because there's 1,000 troops there standing by as peacekeeping between Lebanon and Israel might be put in the middle of this warfare scenario. Now, this is what is happening, and it's a growing tension. It's a growing tension. And then we have China, which is a major military power, that has not transferred per se lethal weapons to Russia, but is providing Moscow with drones and satellite images and a lot of support by buying, of course, their oil, their gas. So it's like China is almost financing it. The Sino-Russian world order, which I had exposed in volume 7 of my confessions, is doing exactly what I predicted. And so now we are in a situation that might get out of control. That's why it's so important that today we talk about this, especially after what we mentioned the last week, with the possibility now that all U.S. residents that are aged 18 to 26 could potentially be drafted in the scenario of a future war declaration by Congress. And this is quite disturbing for your own children, guys. I mean, the fact that the military-industrial complex, as Eisenhower called it, together with the swamp, the putrid swamp in Washington, and this putrid swamp in Washington, guys, doesn't include only Democrats. It includes also a lot of Republicans. Think about the fact that they passed the bill, the last bill to move forward this National Defense Authorization Act 217-299 vote, which fall largely along party lines, with only 3 Republicans opposing it. 3 Republicans. So they are also in the military mode. There is too many putrid creatures in the
putrid.
Yes, in the swamp in Washington, guys. So it's important that we discuss all this today, because then we had also certain representatives that even proposed to expand the draft legislation to women as well as men. Now, that is one of the most stupid and idiotic things you can do, because women are meant to produce the future generations. If you send the same amount of women as of men, you are castrating your country. It's the most idiotic thing I ever heard, but that is what some warmongers in Washington want. And like I explained in volume 7 of my confessions, although the federal government obscures so much of its defense spending that is difficult to procure, there is trillions that are spent, trillions. And they want to spend as much as probably, 20, 30 trillions by 2050 if we continue falling in the hands of this uncontrolled and unchecked people that just go to Washington not to represent us, but rather to represent their pocket. It's a little bit like Nikki Haley. We had Nikki Haley doing her whole show, and people didn't really understand who was behind her, if not Soros, of course. But it's not only Soros. It's also the military-industrial complex. Those people who, even in the Republican Party, claim to be more moderate and say that Trump is too extreme. Those fuckers, let's be very honest about it. Those people are really the ones who are sponsored behind the scenes by the military-industrial complex. So the fact that we are fighting against enemies, foreign and domestic. That's the problem here. The domestic ones are the corrupted ones, the people like the Biden family who have been bought out a long time ago by China, by Russia, and then we have all these people who go to Washington, and sincerely, guys, they don't have any ethics and morals. They, all these lobbyists, you just flash a bit of money to them, and that's it. They're both for. If they're not both for, then they make sure they fall into some sex trap. And that means, film secretly, maybe doing things they shouldn't be doing, and then being blackmailed. That's what happens in Washington, D.C. So Washington, D.C. is still the putrid swamp. And Trump, of course, is the only one that could stop all this. We will see in the coming days this confrontation on TV. But in the meantime, we see also all the media, the mainstream media, coming in the aid of a president who has demonstrated, not in one video, but in hundreds of videos, that he's mentally incapacitated and mentally unfit to be the commander-in-chief. But they're lying. They're lying even in front of the obvious, because, no? You see,
it's annoying.
I mean, every time we heard the news today, it was like a mantra. They were repeating it over and over again.
Do. They try to brainwash you, and they tell you what you're supposed to see. Well, they're lying.
Like, for example, when Trump was viewed in Italy, wandering off, and they said, no, he was talking to the parachute.
No, you said Trump, you mean Biden.
Sorry, Biden. No, he was wandering off. No, he was wandering off. But in reality, they say that he was talking with these other parachute people that were there. No, but the thing is this: if you are president, but even if he was, if you are the president of the United States and you have all the world leaders who are next to each other, and you have the prime minister of Italy who is guesting them, and all facing this side, and you have the guys arriving here, the guy arriving here who was giving a detailed explanation, why you should say hello to the other guys on the side? I mean, it doesn't make sense, even if they try to no? So somebody said Confessions on Illuminati 11, Civilization at Decline. That was already volume 5. We made the decline of the West.
Yeah.
No, we already.
Was that the one that got censored?
It got censored, but then we reproposed it as volume 5. So the problem is definitely that Biden is in no conditions to probably even arrive to the end of his presidency. At the same time, we have, of course, people like Kamala, who without Joe Biden will have no political future. So listen to what she says.
Joe Biden and this debate will make clear the contrast. You know, of the many issues in our country and our world that are complex and nuanced, November of 2024 is binary. And when you look at the difference, I would ask people to really imagine what the world will be like on January 20th, 2025. I feel that the future is bright and that we will have a new president who will be elected in 2020, and she will lead the nation with integrity and with a sense of fairness and justice, and she will be me.
They're really sure in her dreams. It's just incredible how the mad Kamala is. Now, I don't know what that video is. I hope it's a fake of some kind, but it's not. It was a few years ago, because this was before 2020, and she was really demented, highly demented. I mean, like
worse. Maybe she polished herself
slightly. Yeah, what drug was Kamala on in that video? That's really something incredible. Yeah. However, welcome to the Leo Zagami show. If you're following us on Facebook and YouTube, remember, in 15 minutes, we will move to Rumble and X, because we will be discussing things that might be censored on Facebook and YouTube. So we prefer to avoid the censorship. And just, you know, make our Facebook and YouTube audience search for us in a better way. They find these platforms that might be really a beacon of freedom when you have all this censorship from all these algorithms. However, welcome to the Leo Zagami show. To those who have tuned in now, I notice that there is more and more people tuning in. Please share this video if you are on X, especially, which is all about sharing and tweeting. Please tweet that we are here. We are here with this. tweet XXX, because now it's not any longer a tweet. So how you call it? An X?
I don't know. I don't even go on there.
I've been X. X is a curse. I mean, it sounds a little bit bad, no?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was the intention of Elon Musk to create this situation with the X. Okay, so we are here and we are viewing ever so frail and confused President of the United States. I have a video to show you that really it's check it out. I mean, now this is the cheap fake footage. Now watch this, and then you're gonna watch the untouched one.
They're really showing themselves to do really well. Come on, man.
How did Biden look?
He was doing the Biden shuffle. I see all the old people around here doing that same shuffle.
It's like very typical of Palm Springs, because we have a big here older community, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He always seems like he pooped his pants, though. Now when he moves a little bit.
It's Biden shuffle.
The Biden shuffle. Okay, the Biden shuffle. However, you cannot say honestly that this guy is fit to be president for another 4 years. He's hardly fit to finish this presidency. And so it's actually elder abuse what his family and Jill Biden is making him go through just to retain this power.
I don't feel sorry for him.
No, it's not a question of feeling sorry. It's a question that these people are so obsessed with power. They never end this thing, because just obsessed with power. No, whatever. In any case, let's move on. We have a lot more news that we need to discuss today over. This is important news because it concerns also my latest book. Oven-like conditions, 125 Fahrenheit, resulted in over 1,000 deaths during Hajj in Saudi Arabia. The last few days of this yearly pilgrimage. So, I repeat, 125 Fahrenheit in Mecca, and people dying like flies. Now, 1,000 people dying when you go to a pilgrimage should be a sign that something is wrong in your religion.
Yeah, really.
No, it's a little bit I mean, I have, as you know, written this book. This is the first book where I finally touched on the subject of Islamic Freemasonry, Islamic Illuminati, who they are, what they did, their connections also with us. With us here in the West. And guys, now what I'm about to show you here, it's actually confirming what I have written regarding the Saudis' involvement in 9/11. So be careful, follow this video, because Omar al-Bayoumi, an official from the Saudi government, was scouting around the places to arrange after the terrorist attacks. This was done before 9/11, and the FBI kept this video sealed for over 20 years. Why is the FBI protecting these crooks if they are not in bed with them? So here we have the evidence of the inside-out job, which I've been talking about in this book, which has a whole chapter about 9/11 and how the Saudis are involved with the Bushes and how it all worked out. Check out this brief clip from this 60-minute special that finally unveiled this video that was kept secret by the FBI for over 20 years.
أيها الإخوة الأحبة الكرام، تحية لكم من عمر البيومي. نحييكم أيها الإخوة الكرام ونرحب بكم من واشنطن العاصمة الأمريكية. ونرجع عودة أخرى إلى هذا المبنى والذي لم أعرف اسمه بعد، لكنني سأوافيكم بالنتائج قريبا، ولكنني سأصل إلى هناك وسأنقل لكم بالتفصيل هذا هناك. لا تعليق هنا، لأنني لم أتعرف على هذا المكان بالضبط، ولكنني أنقل إليكم ما أراه فقط. السيارات هنا، سيدة الأفلام.
Okay, I repeat, this video has been kept secret for a long time by the FBI. The FBI should be working for the American people, but especially since Trump came in power, we saw that the FBI doesn't work for the American people. It actually works against the American people, and we still see results of it after the January 6th Capitol Hill accident was transformed in a terrorist attack, and now all the followers of Donald J. Trump are written down in this as potential terrorists by the FBI establishment, which of course is made out of progressive left-wingers that come out of the worst universities in America, because they're no longer the best. When they say the best, they are the worst. Starting from Georgetown, then you have Yale, Harvard, and all the rest. So this new video that shows a Saudi official plotting the 9/11 attacks in Washington, D.C. prior to the massacre of 3,000 Americans should make us worried. Chris Cuomo, actually, brother, Chris Cuomo on his News Nation, played this video on Friday, yesterday, showing that this Saudi official was actually plotting the attack in Washington, D.C. So it's no longer a secret. What I have written in volume 10, which, as you know, came out at the end of May, is all confirmed in this video and in this testimony. Chris Cuomo said there's a story that's out right now that you have not been smothered. Yes, maybe you can read this.
There's a story that's out right now that you have not been smothered with. The more I think about it, it has been eating at me all day about how blanked up this is. We all remember 9/11. I guess we remember. Maybe we don't. I remember. Maybe we don't. Maybe time does heal all wounds unless you were directly affected, like the families who are forever scarred and the families of the first responders, etc. Why does he say that?
Because
I mean, we don't forget. Is he just joking?
Well, of course. We don't forget, about how many people really forget the importance, the relevance of this event in our lives, because yes, we commemorate it, we remember it.
I remember it every freaking September 11th.
But who did it? Who is responsible for it? I mean, when George W. Bush is still there acting like a great guy, when he himself was in bed with these Saudis, and the evidence is here, guys, in volume 10 of my confessions, well, then there is no real remembrance, because what are we remembering? We have on one side the so-called truth movement, which says it's an inside job. Yes, inside job is an inside-out job. It's part of this old alliance between the Western Illuminati and the Middle Eastern Illuminati that goes back almost 1,000 years, from the time of the Crusades, from the Knights Templars with the Assassins, and that gets all the way to us, and it's described in my book, but nobody says that. Yes, they remember it. Of course they remember it. Of course they remember it, because it inflicted a lot of pain on Americans. But did you, until you read this book, know who was really behind it? And did this book actually shock you? Because I remember you were shocked when you were...
Well, you told me when we first met, but
yeah.
It was, I guess I had to read it. I mean, the way you explained it, and then when I read it, the way you wrote it and the way you explained it, then I was able to understand, because maybe you told me it before, but I didn't really believe it. But then when you wrote it like that, and you had, it was just true. It was truth. And so I had to believe it because it was the truth. So, and then it set me free. So I'm free of it.
The truth should set you free. The truth should set you free. That's an important thing. So Trump has always been against the Bushes, has always been against the neocons, has always been against these people that were part of the PNAC that released so much evil on behalf of the military-industrial complex, also because they then had an excuse, to start a war in Iraq, in Afghanistan, all these places, and it's just like a never-ending wars that, though, produce very little results, if any, that are positive. But trillions are spent, trillions. And on top of that, Joe Biden left $1 billion of weapons, thousands of weapons in Afghanistan. And we should accept that. I mean, I hope that Donald J. Trump...
Americans there.
Yes, he left Americans. But I hope that Donald J. Trump, in the soon-to-be TV confrontation, will say these things. We'll say, Joe, you left... if I was there, I would say, Joe, you left Afghanistan, and you left Afghanistan with $1 billion of weapons for the Taliban, who are now working not only with China, but they are also working with their past enemies, the Russians. Because the whole thing about creating the Taliban and Al-Qaeda was about fighting the Russians. That's why they were in bed with the CIA and they were working with the CIA. So this is insane. You had an airport, a military airport that was just an hour away from China, and you left it. Why? Only for that reason, Joe Biden should not get one vote. Instead, I hope this will be discussed. I hope the topic of World War III will be an important topic. That's why we will be opening our phone lines.
People are desensitized to the whole World War III? Because...
if they hear it every 2 minutes and nothing happens, maybe you're onto something there, because it definitely desensitizes people.
Because I think it's just so important that we all pay attention, and it just doesn't seem like anybody is really, aside from us, paying attention. I see people around and they don't seem to have a care in the world.
Somebody says, does Volume 9 explain what to do if there is a World War III? That is actually something you will find in Volume 7, and you will partly find in Volume 9, yes. But I would suggest also Volume 7, definitely. They will mute the mics in this TV debate.
Really...
That is something that probably will... create a lot of problems, guys. If I was Donald J. Trump, I would bring on stage, hidden here, a mic.
You should.
And I will transmit it directly to the friendly media, or I will record it if I was not capable of transmitting, because maybe they will, no? Because at least you will have a testimony. So Donald J. Trump, please put the mic in there when you do this thing. So when they close you down, every time you close down, you will be recorded. And so that will be the official version that we will be listening later on. Screw off of this mainstream media mercenaries, because they are mercenaries. They're well-paid mercenaries. That's what they are. So now
they're gonna pump that Joe full of Adderall or whatever they give him, and hope for the best, and then try to mute Trump as much as they can. Now
we are going to part two. We are going to part two of this show, so we can be a little bit more free of talking here, guys. Because
we're not on part 2 yet.
No, we're not on part 2.
Rumble.
No, we're not on Rumble yet. So, guys, if you're following us on Facebook, if you're following us on YouTube, please join us for part 2 on X and Rumble. You will find all the details in the description of this video. Do it if you want to enjoy part 2, 100% without any censorship, without any algorithms and all that. Okay? Christy is ready to dance it off. It's Saturday night.
It's the dance off.
It's the dance moment. Now I'm about to join part 2. Christy is so happy that she has to dance. Huh? What do you think? And then we have, of course, the great sound of Vincenzo Viceversa, which is also, by the way, our graphic designer. So it's a win-win with Vincenzo Viceversa. He's a very talented guy. And of course, the video by our friend Albert from Telepandemia. Here we go.
In that time, our world has taken so many steps in the wrong direction.
Ladies and gentlemen, now on X and Rumble only for part 2. Huh? Okay.
Organization, dehumanization, in the negative utopia.
Bye-bye, Facebook. Bye-bye, YouTube. Bye-bye, censorship.
Social organization.